Hi, this is John Barnes, and you're listening to Kop On.
Welcome to Kop On Podcast, you mouth-numbingly spicy Sichuan pepper. My name is Owen. I'm delighted to be joined once more by Shane to delight in the joy. You know, when you meet people in life who don't like football, these oddballs, these people who they don't know their messies from their untidies. You know, these people, they just have no idea. So if you said to them, you called them, the first thing you did, you were so excited, you called them and you just said, Virgil at the Hill Dick, 90 plus 10. They would have thought you'd lost your mind. And if they could see the glee on your face as you were saying, Virgil at the Hill Dick, 90 plus 10, they probably would be pretty sure you've lost your mind, but no, you haven't. You're just one of the family of millions across this wild and wildly, disturbingly beautiful planet upon which we reside. Of the tribe of the millions who support Liverpool Football Club. And I was thinking about the Hill Dick as and it's a little bit crass because it's the Hill Dickinson. And I was thinking before the match, some people call it the Benny Hill. Benny Hill was a comedian back in the 1970s whose comedy has not lasted. Don't go back and look at it. It now seems extremely sexist and not very funny. But they do call it the Benny Hill as a sort of comedy joke, or they did until yesterday. But now surely, Shane, surely it's the Hill Dickinson Stadium and will be forevermore. It was the first derby there. We're going to just talk about the derby. The commentator that on the stream where I was watching talked about history when Ndiaye put the ball in the net for the offside goal, that no one will ever be able to take his name off the fact that he was the first Everton player, the first player to score in an Everton-Liverpool derby at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, but only for the assistant referee to prove him wrong. And then 2 minutes later, Mohamed Salah became the person who scored the first goal in history at the Merseyside derbies at the Hill Dickinson. And then Virgil van Dijk, of course, 90 plus 10. We're going to start there. We're going to look at the highlights. We're going to start there. But Shane, just your emotions. I've just been remembering again and again what happened there. Just such a smile on my face, such joy in my heart. It's reconnected me with football as a game. How are you, Shane?
Hey, hi, Owen. No, I loved it. I'm doing great. You have just made me laugh so much. The fact that you did all that preamble to get to a pun to start the podcast just is so Hill Dickinson. I was like, where is he going with this? And I was like, oh my gosh.
It's not my work. I wish it were my work, but no, it was a meme. Did you not see the photo that was going on?
Going along with the journey. You spun a web. It's all fine. I don't care. Don't tell me that it wasn't you. Let me believe the myth. Come on. Okay. No, but everything.
Yes, it was all my work.
No, and everything's great. No, this is definitely a moment in the season where, I mean, if we're going to have anything to cling on to that's not like, this is the closest we're going to feel to a trophy, is that at least we can have a little bit of pride, have a little bit of glory. And despite how, things have gone, at least we can still get one up on Everton, especially at their new stadium, which, by the way, I saw the aerial views before the match started. That is, the fact that it's on the water is quite nice. It looks like a great. There was like over 50,000 Evertonian fans, about 3,000 Liverpudlians, and I was just supporters. And it was. I was feeling so down. It was so gloom, but it's so crazy how this one moment and 90 plus 10, 100 minutes, it completely changes everything. I'm feeling so great about today. My girlfriend, after the match, because she does appreciate football, and actually we have been going to Angel City matches. I've gotten her interested in that, and for the listeners who don't know, that here in Los Angeles, that's the women's professional team, the NWSL. And so it's been good to get her to go to matches and like engage with the sport in that way. But I came in and she was like, "You don't seem tense anymore. Did they win?" And so like, I thought I was doing a good job of hiding my emotions, but everyone else on the outside, they're like, "Oh wow, this person isn't tense anymore. It must have gone well." So yeah, so all of that has just been surging. And to have Mo, it's like another bit of pride for Mo Salah to be the first one. I'm not trying to jump too far ahead, but just to have him be the first one to score at the stadium in the derby, like everything about it was just, this is what you want. It almost makes me want to not sack slot, almost. But yeah, that's how I'm doing today.
I repeat, and I will continue to repeat until it's no longer a possibility. The ideal situation for me is that he does turn it around. He gets given time. I haven't seen any evidence of it, which is why I've been snot out, but I want to be proved wrong. I want to be proved wrong. Before the match, I had a few minutes spare. I was on my own. I was outside a bar, very, very nice area of Paris near the Pantheon, or the Panthéon, in the 5th arrondissement of Paris. If anyone's in Paris or visiting Paris soon, it's a lovely place to be, especially on an April day. But I was feeling so blue and so glum before the match against the Blues, and I phoned into an excellent YouTube channel called the Anfield Irishman. Brian runs it. It's nothing to do with Anfield Agenda, which is another Anfield Irishman. It's run by excellent guy Brian, who just invites anybody to come on. And I was on there, and I was feeling so bad, and I just had to have a rant at how sad I was, because I thought Everton were going to win, and James Garner was going to be the man of the match, and they would have more fight. So, but to be completely wrong about that, number one, I'm sorry, I doubted you, Liverpool Football Club, and number two, it's brilliant to be wrong when you're pessimistic. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'm a little bit pessimistic about Slot, whether he can turn it around. But I really hope he does. I really hope he proves me wrong. And everyone else who's doubting.
I'm right there with you. I mean, like, that is the easiest of all solutions, is not to have to like have a total regime change again. Like, it is just that it seems to be the best route, and I want it to happen. But I hate how we've been so many times. It's just felt like, okay, this is the Liverpool we know. We're back. We're feeling it. Everything's coming up roses. We're gonna get 2 wins, 3 wins in a row, and then next thing you know, we're drawing and losing. So, I mean, I want to be wrong, like you said. I'm a little bit pessimistic about the whole thing, but yeah, I want it to happen. There was something else you said, but I totally forgot, and it doesn't even matter. So you go.
Okay, happens to me all the time. Okay, so where we're going to start at this, because you, like me, you, the sweet, dear, cherished, adored listener, you will have seen the goals back, perhaps just Virgil's winner, time and time again on various highlights packages. But what I wanted to start looking at with you here, Shane, and for the audio listeners, we're going to describe what we see, so hang in there. There was a moment just after Rio Ngamoha unfortunately put that effort, after that brilliant move, over the bar. And you won't see it in any highlight packages of exactly what happened next, but I'm going to take our highlights from the LFC TV full match replay, so we can just see exactly what happened after Rio Ngamoha hit one over the bar. Because I don't know about you, Shane, I thought that was our best move of the match, the one that Rio unfortunately skied. I thought that was just some terrific play.
I thought the match was gone. I thought that was our only shot.
See, I was in that pub, and there were 2 other Liverpool fans near me, and there was a mix of other football fans, and I was saying to the guy, that French guy I met next to me, who's a Liverpool fan, I was like, we're going to have one more. We're going to have one more chance. And I don't know what made me believe. Maybe it was the body language of the players, but the fact that we were able to put our best move together in injury time, or the lack of Jared Branthwaite, who's an excellent player, and I do hope he gets well soon, because we don't want to see anyone going down with any kind of injury, and I feel sorry for him. Yeah. That hamstring injury might mean that he will miss the World Cup. But anyway, from that Rio Ngamoha missed shot, Pickford, with his small arms and weird, like, small socks, whacks the ball with his left foot for the goal kick. And that's Everton's game plan. long ball, but it's actually won at the base of midfield with an uncontested header for Szoboszlai. But his header, it was just long and straight. Basically, he tried a through ball with his head, but that was very well and easily dealt with by the Everton defence, who nodded it back, and it became head tennis. And Konate was jumping up for a header with Tierno Barry, and he just did enough to put Tierno Barry off, push him up, out of balance. And the ball came to Curtis Jones at right back, and in fact, indeed, the referee gave a free kick because Barry was a bit too hard with his pushing. So the ball was played around the back a little bit. The Everton players were trying a one-man press. The ball is with Curtis Jones in our defence, sort of 10 yards in front of our own penalty box. He plays it to the right, where Konate has gone to right back. Konate tries a quite risky forward pass, and luckily comes back to him, and he lays it back centrally to Curtis Jones, who's still in that position, about 10 yards in front of the D in a sort of centre-back position. But Curtis spots a space diagonally forward to his left, and he charges into it. He runs past one defender, and just as the one Everton defender, an Everton attacker who's doing some defending, he runs past one Everton player, and just as another one approaches, he lays the ball off. He lays the ball off to, was that Szoboszlai? I think it was Szoboszlai. It could have been McAllister, who does a little flick. I can't see because the players are so small on my screen. Either Szoboszlai or McAllister did a lovely little flick with the back heel, almost like a Cruyff turn flick, back into the path of Curtis Jones, who then plays the ball to the left, and Kerkez on to Rio Ungamoha, who is now in the left wing position. We've made it all the way up there. Kerkez is sprinting his heart out. I love Kerkez. I love his heart. Came off the bench, he had more energy than everyone, and he knew it. He used it, and that's what all substitutes should do. Kerkez ran into an offside position, and Gamoha checked inside, drew two Everton players towards him, and laid it off, kept the ball. Szoboszlai had a one-touch pass to McAllister. McAllister saw immediately that there was no shot on, so McAllister just knocked it straight back to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai took one touch out of his feet, went for the shot, scuffed it. It took a slight deflection, and went out for the corner. That is the move, Shane, that led to the corner. And there's something in that body language of those players that they haven't given up. Kerkez especially, Curtis Jones. There was something very determined about that move that I love, because that kind of determination has been missing as a team so many games this season. Is that just because it was Everton, Shane, and the players upped it, or is this something that we can use and build on?
I think it's something that's been there all along. And I think it's easier to get there and like dwell in that sort of space as a player whenever you're not trying to overthink it. And I think this is something that we can embody, that can be in our play, that we can clearly show. I mean, people who aren't even starters so late into the match are able to show the fluidity needed, that we all know that they can play with, the determination, the urgency. Yes, there is a bit you do have to take into account. We are playing Everton. The match is tied. And now when you think about it, you're like, the players are trying to prove something. You know, they're trying to prove something. And that's what we need way sooner in all matches. And part of me, I don't know. How do you feel about Slot's tactics? Do you think what you just saw, is Slot, or is this just the players? Because part of me had a hard time figuring out exactly what the game plan was from Slot from the get-go.
What can a manager do? They can set the players up in terms of decide where they're going to play on the field. They can set the system. So they're going to say, okay, we're going to press. These are the lines we're going to press. They set the defensive line. This is how deep you're going to defend. But in terms of determination and freedom, some coaches don't give them any freedom at all. Like Unai Emery, for example, in defence, he will have very strict instructions as to how the players will play out from the defence. I don't think Arne Slot is that kind of character. He might give some pointers, but I think at this stage it was just, let's go forward as fast as we can and do it however you want to. So I think that's down to the players. But what the best managers can transmit to their players is determination. A team playing with determination is 10 times better than a team that doesn't. And this is the thing that I saw in that move that was so encouraging. But yes, in terms of tactics, he wouldn't be saying, okay, Curtis, now you take on 2 Everton players and play that ball. He wouldn't be saying that. He wouldn't be saying to
No, but specifically, even just like the decision for Curtis to be like, you have the freedom to move from the defensive line around midfield, right to left, however you want to do it. So that is Curtis improving in the moment and showing his footballing genius.
Yeah, possibly. Although I think maybe Slot would give him that instruction to roam around a bit. Okay, and we're going to see what happened from that resulting corner later, because we're going to look at the match chronologically now. We're going to go back to the start of the match.
You started off with a teaser, and now you're not even going to give us the goal. Now we got to go all the way back.
Got to go all the way through the match, man. But tell me, how did you celebrate the goal though? How did you celebrate?
Yeah, so I had my phone because I had it on my phone, and I was like jumping up and down, but I was trying not to wake up anyone else in the other room. So I was like, oh, and it was like one of those times where what I had to do the night before and then what I had planned, I couldn't make it to the Los Angeles Supporters Club, which I would love to go to, and I always want to plug them as much as I can. So I was like trying to be like, but man, I was pumping my fist, and then I just started giggling. And then from there, it was just because after that, football became funny again. Football hasn't been funny, because this is one of the things I love about footy is that it is funny. There's so many humorous things that happens, whether it's a black cat that runs onto the pitch and then nobody wins for however long, or if it's a squirrel that interrupts a thing, or a dog, or this or that, or the fans, come up with something silly. Like, football has a sense of humor, and unfortunately, I haven't been laughing as a Liverpool fan until we got one up on them at their new stadium, and then I was like, okay, yes, the humor, we're back. It's great. I'm loving this.
Fantastic. That was my reaction in the pub as well. It was just laughter. I just laughed. I laughed my head off that was it. In fact, you had Tarkowski and Pickford right next to Van Dijk, and he ends up getting a free header from 2 yards out to win the game at their new stadium after their tifo, after all their confidence, after all of
we're shite for all season.
Yes, and including this match. It wasn't a great performance, but anyway. When the team news dropped, Shane, Andy Robertson was at left back instead of Kirkes. Of course, Ekitike's out, so Isak started. There was no Brio, but there was Mo Salah in the starting 11. How did you feel about that starting 11?
I was happy that Mo was starting. I felt like it was fairly good. At this point, I don't even know how I feel about how I judge the starting lineups, because sometimes I'm overly critical and we get a good result. Sometimes I'm not critical enough and it's a bad result. And I was like, oh, I should have, been. I kind of think it was good for what we had available. I mean, honestly, the season has been so much with all the injuries with Leone and then Hugo Ekitike now, and so based on everything available, I was just happy for anything to show a more forward foot, a more attacking minded approach, rather than just letting them have the ball or being too pedestrian about it.
But we had, I thought it would have been Szoboszlai at right back, but it ended up being Curtis Jones at right back. But there was no Frimpong, talking about being exciting. I thought I understood the idea of not having Frimpong because it's all about dealing with the long ball, and thought, like being strong, and Curtis Jones is probably physically stronger than Jeremy Frimpong, but I was disappointed. I was really disappointed that Frimpong wasn't somehow on the pitch. I was really disappointed that Cody Gakpo played instead of Rio. Of course, I was proved wrong, but
No.
yeah.
But Soboslai at midfield is I really want him there. I know he does a fantastic job at right back, but at the same time, I really like him in midfield. He has like the dominance that we need. He has the physicality, and I know that works well in defense, but I feel like we desperately need it. So yeah, I mean, putting in Curtis was a definite risk because Frimpong can run up and down with no end, but Curtis played the whole match. It is so impressive, and he was everywhere.
Yeah, I'm going to get up some stats if I can about Curtis's performance. I'll bring that up in a moment. Yeah, I've got stats from FOTMob, but yeah, let's jump onto that actually. Okay. So yeah, in terms of the main stats, Liverpool had 14 shots to Everton's 10, with 6 on target to Everton's 4. Our XG was 1.45 compared to 0.79. For Everton, there were 2 big chances each, 83% passing accuracy for Liverpool, and the XG from open play was 1.22 for Liverpool, which is very good. From open play, Everton just 0.61. In terms of duels, because this is the thing we've been looking at all season, Everton absolutely trounced us with the duels. They won 44 compared to 23.
No way.
They had in that, which equates to 66% against 34%. 2 out of 3 50-50s they won, which is something we have to look at in the summer.
Yeah, it's been directly tied to our results.
Exactly. And this one, it could have gone either way, really. But I'm quite surprised actually, having seen that about how well we played with the XG. But okay, Curtis Jones was the man of the match according to FOTMob. I'm trying to find if I can find this yet. So defensively, Curtis Jones had 2 tackles and 4 interceptions with 16 recoveries, which is completely mad. 16 recoveries, because in context, the next best on the pitch was Iliman Ndiaye, who had 8, and then and then Dewsbury Hall had 8. So Curtis Jones having 16 is absolutely mad. Yeah, he had 6 clearances, 1 headed clearance. Passing, he had 4 out of 5 accurate long passes and 94% passing accuracy, Curtis Jones, which is superb. In attack, Curtis Jones had 1 out of 3 successful dribbles, which was the one that ended in the corner, that ended in the goal for Virgil van Dijk. So 1 out of 3 successful dribbles. Apart from that, he didn't do much in attack. But there you go. FOTMob has him as 8.4 out of 10, and the man of the match. Quite interestingly. Okay. Let's go to that. Go to the highlights. When the team dropped, it was I was a bit pessimistic, and the start wasn't particularly great. Everton had the ball on 5 minutes 11 seconds in the left wing position with Ndiaye, who cuts to the edge of the box, plays in a cross that's blocked by Wirtz on the edge of the box, but it's bounces back to the left wing position. And a cross comes in from that left wing position, and it finds Beto with the first chance of the match, who ran in front of a kind of static and placid Ibu Konate, and it was a great save by Georgie Mamardashvili, an excellent save. What did you make of that save, Shane? I thought it was brilliant.
I didn't like that it was necessary, but yeah, if he needed to do that, I'm happy that he was able to not only take it but also push it out into the side. He's not setting it up for anybody in front of him. So, I mean, the fact that we don't have Allison until maybe May the 3rd against United has been the projection. Yeah, at the moment, I'm okay with him, but I still I still have I still have like a picture of Quaveen Kelleher above my bed every night, that I miss dearly. But it's fine. He deserves what he deserves. So
I have a Queeveen shrine in the corner of my bedroom, and I light a candle to it every night. But there is a new photo there, which is Freddie Woodman, who of course came on for Georgia. And the latest news, from Georgia is that the cut was pretty severe, but he's been stitched up. But it's one of those things on the knee, and it's going to take a couple of weeks for him to get over it. He's not going to be able to come back. Between 2 and 4 weeks, I think, is the prognosis for that, which is good news because he's not going to miss the World Cup if indeed Georgia are at the World Cup. I don't even know. I don't follow international football, and yeah, it gives Freddie Woodman a chance, and he was terrific. To jump ahead a little bit, he was terrific after coming on. He didn't have that much to do, but that little headed touch when he headed it over the advancing Everton player when he was outside the box, and then played a beautiful pass to Andy Robbo. He looks just very, very solid, Shane. I don't know. I'm okay with him in goal. Are you worried?
No, at this point, I'm ready to put like the kids at the wheel of the ship. Like we need to throw everything, the kitchen sink at it. I want Rio starting every match. Freddie, sure, let's go for it. At this point, we won the match anyway. Let's keep it going. If we're gonna be in this position, if our fate is more or less already determined, why not experiment? Why not try to do something? We need a shake up anyway. Something needs to happen. I mean, and if anything, injuries are kind of forcing that, which sucks so much. And so if that's going to be the case, let's give people a chance. I'm all about giving people a chance.
Well, that's excellent. But Freddie Woodman is not a kid. He's 29 years old, which is very surprising. But because he's been around a lot. He's actually been in the lower leagues. He's been a number one at many lower league clubs, and had a very good career in the Championship. And he's a bit of a journeyman footballer, but he's 29 years old, which is a great thing for a third keeper to have that experience. We're just seeing on our screen what happened after Mamardashvili's save, because the ball stayed in play. Liverpool launched a counter-attack, and there was a through ball towards Alexander Isak, who was quite easily shepherded out wide for Branthwaite, and he had to keep the ball, and then Liverpool knocked it around a bit at the edge of the box, and Florian Wirtz lost the ball, and then Everton could, get the ball back, and they fluffed their chance to counter our counter-attack. So what do you think of Isak on that? Because that was what we just saw were both of his touches in the first half. Basically, he had about 2 touches, and maybe 3 or 4 in the entire half. That was after 5 minutes of the match. So he basically didn't touch the ball for another at least 35 minutes. Shane, it could be the tactics that aren't playing to his strengths. But what do you think? Do you think he will be able to get up to speed again and find some form and consistency? Are you optimistic about Isak?
I do think he can get up to form and consistency. I think a lot of it has to do with the style of play from both the team and him as a player. For example, like what you described with the amount of touches, in my head, I was like, oh yeah, he has like a quota of getting 5 touches and over the course of 60 minutes then being subbed off or less. And it just seems as if the number 9 position for Liverpool has kind of been a problem since Bobby Firmino left. It has just kind of been this position that we're not sure exactly what it is. Darwin made it his own, and we were kind of clear of what that was. And then over the course of the season, Hugo has done a great job of making it what I guess it will be. I don't know if it's like this inverted number 9 or anything else, but what's going on with Isak is that it almost seems like this like avoidance situation, because Isak takes opportunities. He puts himself in the right position. His movement off the ball is to get him in a position to where he can be predatory with his finishes. And right now, that is not our style of play. Is finding a very now we saw it with Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah for that first goal, but since when have we seen these cutting passes across the ground that are these diagonals. I mean, we've been lobbing the ball nonstop. It's like it's like our style of play and attack have been like almost catering to people who are 7 feet tall. So it's just, I think it's both the style of play and him trying to be as elusive as possible to defenses. And he's even eluding our offense.
Yeah, it's a very fair point. Were you surprised, as I was, how many long balls we played in that game? I mean, if you look at the passing accuracy of, for example, our centre-backs, Virgil van Dijk usually is around about 90, 91, 92%, and Konate about 90%. And Virgil van Dijk was only 82%, and Konate was 85%, because we were trying long passes all the time. So Van Dijk kicked it long 7 times, Konate 4 times, Curtis Jones 5 times, Andy Robertson 8 times, Soboslai 4 times. That's a lot of long balls. Let me try and add all those up. So that's 12, 19 plus 9, 28 plus 10. That's 38 long passes, plus 12 from Freddie Woodman. That's 50 times in one match that we just lumped it. That seems a lot, Shane. That's a lot of lumping the ball.
And that is a change in trend from what we've been doing for the entire season. So that is, I mean, I'm happy about it, but it is a lot. So what do you make of it? Are you happy about it? Are you excited to see it?
I can't be happy. No, God, no. The long ball against Everton with their giant centre-backs, they're just going to mop them up every time. For me, it's just taking... I mean, there is a moment for it, of course. If you're under pressure, I understand Freddie Woodman wanting to just kick it long for the sake of gaining territory, and we try and win the second ball. But, the dual count, the ground dual count as it is, and the aerial dual count as it is, which is that Liverpool are shit at winning any of it. That's... You're just playing into Everton's hands. You're just giving the ball away. But I don't know. If we played it around at the back too much and made a mistake, then we would be very much complaining about that. So maybe it was just a safety first thing. But I would have liked us to have a bit more confidence to knock it around.
Sure.
It's only Everton.
Yeah.
But okay, the next highlight is Pickford knocking it out to Tarkowski, who plays a long pass towards Keenan Dewsbury Hall. He's running straight through the middle, straight off the back between Konate and Curtis Jones. We didn't know what to do with that long pass, but luckily it was just ahead of Dewsbury Hall. Just. Of course, David Moyes wanted a penalty for like a slight shoulder tap by Curtis Jones, but Shane, there was no way in any month of Sundays that was a penalty. Absolutely not, right?
It seemed, I don't know. I was worried about it. I was worried that they were going to pull out the VAR because they were going to say that it was in the back and not shoulder to shoulder. I was definitely slightly concerned, but it's dicey. You never know. You never know these days.
That's true. You never know, but you never know because the referees sometimes give it. But the question is it a penalty? Should it be a penalty? And the answer is no. Of course it shouldn't, right?
No. Okay. No.
Because it's just a slight contact, and just because he falls over doesn't mean it's a penalty.
Right, and he could be just exaggerating the touch. Of course.
That's what I would say. 12 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock. Everton have it in their right back position, but the right back is on the centre line, the halfway line. He plays it forward to Dwight McNeil, and there's this terrific sliding tackle by Andy Robertson, leaping in like a salmon up a river, and dispossessing Dwight McNeil, and having time to get up and turn and take a few touches forward and play a lovely pass between the lines up towards Isak, who was immediately muscled out of it by Everton's defence. And Everton tried the direct route, playing it up. And eventually they won a free kick which was taken by Ghana in 14 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock. James Garner, who did have a good match, I think, and his free kick was very well palmed away by Mamardashvili, again out of the danger area, because it was a dangerous one. The next highlight is also an Everton attack on 15 minutes and 27 seconds. It was a long pass from the back from I think it was Branthwaite down the line. Better was in the box, only Konate near him, but Konate is behind him, so he has a free shot at goal. And this, I don't know if it was a shot or a clearance. It went very, very close to that little knee next to the corner flag. But that was a relief. It was a relief that Beto is such a poor finisher, because I think he's a good player, and he generally gives us a torrid time every time we play Everton. He really causes both Virgil and Konate a lot of problems. Is that something that you want us to address, Shane? Have we already addressed it with Leone and Jeremy Jacquet, to have centre-backs who are just a bit tougher?
Sure, I think so, a little bit of that, but also there's always going to be, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm buying too much into the myth of the whole thing, but isn't there? It always feels like there's one Evertonian who just seems to just be the most dickish on the pitch, who just has that sort of innate quality. It seems like Beto took that over from Richarlison. It seems like Richarlison was that before. And then was Richarlison at Tottenham? Was Richarlison at Everton?
I mean, he was always a douchebag at Everton.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then before that, you know who it was before Richarlison? Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley, no matter how his season was going, he would always just turn up against us. And I was just so upset all the time about Ross Barkley.
I mean, absolutely. But Beto,
So
I mean, he was...
Yeah.
But I think personality-wise, he doesn't seem like a bit of a jerk. You know, Richarlison was a jerk, whereas Beto seems like a nice model professional kind of guy.
Of course, but he's just taken on the mantle of just being that. No matter how the form is, he will be the head of the spear to prick us.
Absolutely. Liverpool's first meaningful attack, is a corner. 17 minutes and 27 seconds. Mohamed Salah with his arm in the air, the in-swinging corner from our right wing position, and Pickford palms it away quite easily, actually, and then it's a long hoik clear. So that kind of corner, I don't even know why it makes the highlights reel, to be honest. That was Liverpool's first cross into the box, I guess. 21 minutes and 46 seconds. Virgil van Dijk is penalised for a slight shove on the Everton player, and Pickers screams out. Oh no, it wasn't a slight shove. It was a hard tackle. It should have been a yellow card, this, for Virgil, to be fair. But Pickers screaming out of his goal, like the little short-armed weirdo with his short socks, putting pressure on the referee. It's honestly, if he was at your barbecue, Shane, you would sort of, I don't know, you'd do your best to diplomatically, I don't know, suggest he goes home early or something. Like, would you want Pickers at your barbecue?
You know, all are welcome. I want to be a loving and kind person, and that it wouldn't continue. But I would, whenever the first wave of guests leave, and then later on in the evening, whenever it's the people, that don't have, the people that you really, really want to spend time, I would hope that he would leave in that first wave. I would want him gone with the extended relatives I don't know the names of. I would be like, you can go at the level of acquaintance, but at some point, if he were to charge anyone like he did the referee at the party, oh, no, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Absolutely. Then there were more kerfuffles. 23 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock. And it's Ndiaye against Soboslai. And I don't know if you saw this, Shane, but Lisandro Martinez of Manchester United got a red card for a hair pull on Dominic Calvert-Lewin's ponytail. Did you see that incident, or did you just hear about it?
I don't know if I've seen it exactly, but I feel like I. Do you want to bring it up? Because I feel like I'm trying to remember a different hair pulling red card. I mean, I'm trying to see it in my mind's eye. It was this weekend.
Well, yeah, it was very. Yeah, it was last week.
It was last
United
week.
Lost.
Yeah.
They lost to Leeds on Monday night.
Okay, yeah. I think I saw someone scrolling.
The Premier League afterwards, they issued a statement to say that pulling hair is classified as violent conduct, which is a red card offence. Okay, so that's so that the decision was, it adheres to strict existing guidance that deems hair pulling an act of force deserving a dismissal. Okay, that was the official Premier League statement from last week. This moment, I don't know if you'll get to see it in these NBC highlights that we have here, but Szoboszlai made the point to the referee that he pulled his hair. You can't see the replay. If you saw the replay, Shane, you would see very clearly there was a pull of the hair. Was it something that VAR missed? Because the referee obviously missed it, or did they just choose to ignore it? Did they bottle out? Because by their own rules and by their own statements, these jerk-offs who run the PGMOL, like, it should have been a red card.
Yeah, it's hard to know in the moment if there was like any sort of like willful, like, hey, we.
Oh, it was, yes. You don't see the replay, unfortunately, but you couldn't see it from the highlights. But
No. I meant from the VAR. I know that like any sort of willful sort of like, hey, turning a blind eye, or like, hey, we missed this moment. I mean, it is kind of telling that it's kind of cut around in highlight reels across everywhere, because it does make the referee look bad that they did miss something. Now, that's what I'm saying is I don't know if missing it was, or like they're saying like maybe that's something, but they didn't want the conversation to be about that. It's hard to know their motivation in the moment. But yeah, it looks like a player is forcefully trying to pull the hair, but I think they're trying to do it in a way to get away with it. And so, like, I don't know. It's just, it's dirty, it's crummy, and it's not the best sort of behavior from the player. But it's hard to know these days. That's what I'm saying earlier with the penalty. You never know. You don't know what they're gonna like actually like. Hey, no, we need to freeze the frame right here and give a red card or give a penalty, or no, that wasn't enough for anything. You never know.
And that's part of the problem, isn't it? It's I mean, I've got the incident again from LFC TV up on the screen. You can just see that there's a kerfuffle going on. This is from the live match replay. So you'll see Szoboszlai is running away from the incident, and he's doing up his hairband. But again, they're not going to show the replay. God, that's disappointing. Okay, so we're not going to be able to see one. But I don't know. If you issue a strong statement saying all hair pulling is violent conduct and a red card, and then the very next week you have hair pulling and violent conduct and there's no red card, then it just strengthens the argument that you need to sort out the refereeing, basically. So the next highlight is a long pass from Jordan Pickford. Jared Branthwaite decides to leave it go to Jake O'Brien, who's running up the right wing. He gets to the byline, uncontested from Liverpool. He gets a cross in. Ndiaye takes a touch, smashes it into the corner, and Shane, history is made as the first player in the Merseyside derby at the Hill Dickinson to score a goal is Iliman Ndiaye. And you can see all the limbs flailing of our blue brethren in celebration. There's a special funny dance that Ndiaye does with Ghana Gay, flicking their hands out in synchronized way that they practiced on the training ground. And then at 27 minutes and 39 seconds, a shrill blast on Chris Kavanagh's referee whistle, the old rectangle sign, and his hand up in the air for offside. And Ndiaye, 27 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. His shirt is over his head. And you could see him from that moment, at least for the rest of this half. He lost a lot of heart. He lost a lot of heart. He was gutted. And in a sense, if it wasn't Everton, I'd feel a bit sorry for them, for that offside, for that celebration. But it was clearly offside. At the time, Shane, I thought it was a goal because I was in this bar and there was actually an American, a countryman of yours, was stood in front of me and he had quite a large head and he didn't realise that where he was standing blocked my entire view of the screen. So I missed the build-up to the goal. I managed to crane my neck around this gentleman to watch the ball go in.
That sounds like typical American behavior. That not being aware of your surroundings. This adds up. This checks out.
Well, there was to be fair, there was a Brit who did exactly the same thing a bit later in the match. So we can't pin it all on your brethren, your countrymen. We are all brethren here. But yes, did you think it was a goal? Did you think that Jacob Brown was offside? Was your heart sinking and were you elated that it was offside? Again, I found this very funny.
Well, at first I thought it was a goal and I thought, oh, here we go again. But then as soon as you see the VAR, you're like, okay, that's great. You never know where they're going to draw the line from on the defender, if it's going to be the foot or wherever else. But yeah, I'm happy that the lines ended up favoring us. But yeah, after that, you're like, okay, all right, at least there's that for us. It's almost like a penalty being saved in a way. So it's that type of joy and excitement where you're like, I just dodged a bullet. I just narrowly missed the train, but let's keep going.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, great answer. So yeah, poor NDI puts his shirt back on his head, and then at 28 minutes and 20 seconds, so just 35 seconds later, Liverpool have it in the box with Cody Gakpo, who has a low shot that was saved, and then 1 minute after NDI had his shirt over his head in disappointment, Liverpool have the ball again. It's Cody Gakpo, and he plays this delicious pass. I mean, the move started with Jacob Bryan giving the ball away. There were some pretty nifty moves down the left from Liverpool, but Cody Gakpo getting the ball, playing that pass to Mo Salah. It was, I mean, everything tastes good today. I don't know if you had the same thing. I had some chocolate before. It was so delicious. But this pass is more delicious than the nicest chocolate that you could possibly imagine. It was, Jamie Carragher called it one of the assists of the season. I'd like to see the other contenders, because if this isn't the assist of the season, then the others must be absolutely equally sublime or greater. We're seeing a replay here, Shane, but talk me through it. What you made of it. I mean, they just gave the ball away to Cody Gakpo. We didn't play any passes to him. Excuse me. So they just kicked the ball away. But as I pause it here, Shane, he's got 1, 2, 3 Everton players in front of him in a sort of triangle. Not bad positions. But Mo Salah is way ahead of their left back, Mikolenko. And pass, Shane, can you describe it? Do you have the words? I'm not sure I have the words.
Well, it's unpredictable would be the first thing, because it was not what I was predicting Cody Gakpo to do. As we know, I was expecting him to either drive more or lay it off the Florian. And so the fact that, or was that Kirkez that was just to his right? But yeah, I was, it was Florian, because Kirkez didn't come until later on in the match. But yeah, no, I was just so excited. I was so elated that they actually made a killer instinct sort of moment, a very decisive moment to say, hey, let's be ruthless in our attack. I see Mo running. Mo's making the run. Mo's been making the run. He's been making these runs, and without Trent, we've been lacking service for him. And so to see that sort of thing, it was Trent Alexander-Arnold-esque in terms of the type of pass that it was. And so, yeah, I was happy that we were, again, cutting apart their defense and just showing that we do have it within us. Like I said earlier, we do have it within us to play exciting football. We won the league last year, maybe not with the most exciting brand as we had before with Klopp, but it's just, this match was just so good for us as fans, and this was definitely a moment for that. And I think, honestly, this might be what we hold on to as the crown jewel of the season, the pearl of the season, as we got something for our hard work.
It's a wonderful answer. What's interesting to me when you watch it back is as soon as the loose pass is played to Cody Gakpo, you can see from the angle that views the action from the side of the pitch, the ball is given away to Cody Gakpo, and as soon as it is, Mo Salah is on his bike. If Mo Salah waits, there is no opportunity. But he makes that run as soon as that pass is misplaced, and that gives him a yard on Mykolenko, who's just reacting like a normal human being. He's like, "Oh, I better get back." But Mo Salah's already two meters ahead of him at that point, and that means that Mykolenko cannot get back. And the finish is brilliant, but he has to finish that because it's just put on a proverbial plate. I love the weight of that pass and the fact that it just rolls perfectly on the ground. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I liked Slot's reaction. I liked Giovanni van Bronckhorst doing a little jig in celebration, and in the context of, the first goal in the Merseyside derby at the Hill Dickinson. Being Mo Salah, it would be in history forever, and that's got to be worth a few laughs. Shane, that's just beautiful, isn't it? Mo Salah, the first score.
Yes, I know, and it's just another memory that we're going to have of him, and as a Liverpool player, and just that he was always this mercurial sort of goal scorer, no matter what was happening.
Damn right. 41 minutes and 12 seconds. Liverpool have the ball. Working it down the left wing to Cody Gakpo again. 3 Everton players around him, but he tries his signature move of cutting inside and letting one rip. And there was a decent save by Pickers. It was in the middle of the goal. You would expect him to save that, but there he is, tipping it over. I'm a little bit conscious of time, Shane, because we've been going for an hour and we're still in the first half. What I'm going to do is skip to the goals, if that's okay.
I'm
do you
all
have time?
for it. Skip to the goals. Let's do the goals.
Okay, so from that moment, Pickers' save is now the second half, and 53 minutes 37 seconds on the clock. Everton have it on the halfway line, very, very much on the left-hand side, close to the touchline, right next to the touchline, and a long ball is played down the channel towards the edge of the box. One touch with the chest from, is that Dewsbury Hall with the assist? I can't see.
I believe so.
Ndiaye maybe.
Yeah.
But it was very, very easy for him to control that ball with his chest, and it kind of looped up and went onto his left foot. And there was no challenge. Konate was the defender. Sorry, it wasn't Konate the defender. Konate was the defender in the middle trying to stop Beto, but he didn't put a challenge in on Beto either.
And so, I think it was
1-1.
Right. I think it was Dewsbury Hall.
Well, we'll see. Of course, Mamadashvili had a horrible cut for his troubles, and as I say, we wish him well, because it was pretty horrendous to get a cut like that. But yeah, the touch and the pass. Who was the defender there? It was Konate who was perhaps
marking Dewsbury Hall.
Marking Dewsbury Hall. Yes, sorry, excuse me. Konate, who was the wrong side of Dewsbury Hall, and then it was Andy Robertson, who was the wrong side of Beto. So two defenders on the wrong side. Konate on Dewsbury Hall, who got the crossing, and Robertson on Beto. So that's a couple of things. It was a very disappointing goal to concede. All goals are disappointing to concede, but I don't know, to make it easy for Everton is something very, very disappointing. We'll jump to the corner at the end then. So the exact time of the corner coming in is 99 minutes and 52 seconds. It's swung in by Szoboszlai. It's the perfect corner. I'm just trying to see. Mo Salah is sort of half trying to make Pickford's life difficult. There's some shoving around there. But the corner coming in, Pickford is pretty much alone. This is the thing. I don't really understand what he's doing there. It's a very low and flat corner, and it comes in with great pace. And so we've got to give Szoboszlai a lot of credit. And of course, Virgil has wrestling with Tarkovsky, and he manages to get his head to the ball and knock it in. But it's 99 minutes and 53 seconds that he makes contact, and it's in. And you're laughing in Los Angeles, trying to be quiet. And I'm laughing in Paris, in the pub, just laughing my head off at the scenes, the joy, the hilarity at Pickford and Tarko and Dewsbury Hall and James Garner. Their faces are the faces of Evertonians everywhere. And it's Virgil, again, in the history books, the first ever Merseyside derby. In 100 years, if the planet still exists, if the internet still exists, if anyone still cares about football, if football still exists, they might look back at the record books like some Liverpool people love looking back at the 1920s Liverpool. And you look at names like Dave McFarland or someone, whatever, I can't remember the names of anyone from the 1920s, and you're like, wow, we had an invincible team in 1925. Wow, I wonder what they were like. And they might look back and think, well, what was this Merseyside derby? The first one at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. And they will look back at Virgil van Dijk, the monster, the absolute beast, the hero that he's been, finding another hero moment. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I don't know if Arne Slot was only half celebrating because he was wondering if it would be ruled out for VAR. That could have been a possibility. But my goodness, Shane, that was funny. That was fun.
It was great.
Yeah. So there you go. And at the final whistle, what did you do after the match?
Oh, after the match, yeah. Then it was time for avocado toast and coffee. Had to get breakfast. Had to get the day moving. But after that, it's so easy to be happy. And then I ended up going to the newspaper, the Los Angeles Times. They put on a festival of books. And that's this giant book fair that happens at the University of Southern California, USC. And so we went there, and so we went to a book festival and everything else. And anytime I saw a Liverpool jersey in and out, people wore their memorabilia. They wore the team merch out and about, because finally, after a match, we can be proud. It's just been so hard. Whenever you see the team gear out and about, you just know that it's just, people are in good spirits. And so, yeah, that was fun.
Excellent stuff. And has a book, I am a bookworm. I do love books. But has a book ever made you feel like that moment when Virgil scored? Because they don't, that level of madness I only get from football.
I think there's probably, that is true. It's kind of hard to pick. There has to be like some funny, hilarious moments in some books. There's this one book called Holes, and I think it's by Louis Schapp, whatever it was. They made a movie about it, like a Shia LaBeouf movie about it. But there are certain moments, like, especially when, you know what it reminds me of? It's like, whenever like a kid, and like especially these stories, whenever you're getting away with something, you've snuck into the backyard, you've gotten the ball back, now you're sneaking back. It's just, you felt like you snuck into your neighbor's yard, you got your ball back, and you snuck back. And here's the thing, they knew about it and they were chasing you the whole time and they couldn't do anything about it. And so that is what it felt like.
Absolutely excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Shane. We're gonna have to wind things up for this episode. We decided between us to try as much as we can to bring in more Kop Ons more regularly, twice a week if we can. So the next one will be a Crystal Palace preview. Thank you very much, Shane. Do you have anything to add or anything that we haven't mentioned that you would like to mention?
No, I'm excited to do this, to come up with this regular schedule that as we go through the highlights, and that we also have the flexibility to, if we only want to do the goals, if we only want to talk about X, Y, or Z. And I think this is like a good model for us to keep moving forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving the listeners out there 2 episodes a week, about an hour long each episode. And that way, you and I get to have a life, we get to have an existence, and everything. We're still spinning all the plates, but we don't have to go weeks and weeks and weeks without an episode,
Yes, which has been far too long. And apologies that it's happened a few times this season because life has gotten in the way, but also I've been a bit down about the footy. I've been like, what's the point? Like, what? We've just got stuff to complain about, but I don't want to just get on and complain. But now my love for the game is well and truly back. And I'd just like to say before we do chip off that a very nice young man from who's age 11, a fan of the podcast called Harry from Cherrywood in Dublin. I just want to say hello to Harry. And apparently Harry sent a message. I've never met Harry. I've only heard of his existence through our friend Alan. And Harry sent a message to Jamie Carragher asking Jamie Carragher if he wanted to come on a Kop On podcast. So thank you very much, Harry. Jamie Carragher
Harry
is welcome anytime he wants to, chat Liverpool on the Kop On podcast. But thank you so much, Harry.
Yeah, thank you, Harry. I appreciate you listening. That's amazing. Please keep listening, dude. We're all Liverpool supporters here. We're all brethren. I think it's really cool that you're listening. So I think that's great. And yes, if anyone can get Jamie Carragher, it's got to be Harry.
Exactly. And if anyone wants to join in, and do send Jamie a message saying, what are you doing, Jamie? Get in touch. koponpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you very much. If you do want to get in touch, that is the email, koponpodcast@gmail.com. Whoever you are, wherever you are across this wild and wonderful planet upon which not just you and I, but Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah reside. This is Kop On Podcast. We'll speak to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.